Most people remember Don Knotts as Barney Fife, the nervous but lovable deputy from the Andy Griffith Show. His wide-eyed expressions and jittery delivery made him one of the funniest actors in television history. But behind the laughs was a man who grew up during the Depression, served his country in uniform, and carved out a career that seemed impossible for a shy kid from West Virginia. Today, we're diving into the life of Don Knotts. From his early struggles, to his time in the Army, to his rise as a comedy legend. Jesse Donald Knotts was born July 21, 1924, in Morgantown, West Virginia. His childhood was far from easy. His father struggled with mental illness, and the family lived with very little money during the Depression. Don was a shy, introverted child, often retreating into his imagination. But even then, he had a knack for making people laugh. He entertained friends with ventriloquist acts using a dummy he named Danny. That little act planted the seed for what would become a lifetime of comedy. When World War II broke out, Don Knotts enlisted in the U.S. Army. He served in the Pacific Theater as part of a comedy troupe that entertained troops overseas. While he wasn't on the front lines with a rifle, his job was just as important, boosting morale. Performing skits and stand-up routines for tired soldiers, he honed his timing, stage presence, and quick wit. It was here that Knotts realized comedy wasn't just a hobby, it was his calling. After the war, Knotts returned home and attended West Virginia University on the GI Bill. He eventually made his way into show business, starting with small TV appearances in the 1950s. His big break came with The Steve Allen Show, where he joined the cast of the Man on the Street sketches. Knotts stood out with his nervous, twitchy mannerisms that would later define his comedy. But it was in 1960 that his career skyrocketed, when he was cast as Deputy Barney Fife on The Andy Griffith Show. Barney Fife was the role of a lifetime. With his single bullet in his pocket, his over-the-top bravado, and his constant bumbling, Barney became one of the most beloved characters in TV history. Knotts' performance won him 5 Emmy Awards for Best Supporting Actor, a record at the time. The chemistry between Andy Griffith and Don Knotts was pure magic. Andy was the calm, steady sheriff, while Don provided the manic, hilarious counterbalance. Even decades later, fans still argue that Mayberry wouldn't have been Mayberry without Barney Fife. After leaving the Andy Griffith Show in 1965, Knotts transitioned into movies. He starred in family-friendly comedies like The Incredible Mr. Limpet, where he played a man who turns into a talking fish, and The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, a cult classic that showcased his nervous charm. Over the years, Knotts became a familiar face in films and later on TV again, including a recurring role on Three's Company in the late 1970s. Don Knotts worked well into his later years, continuing to make audiences laugh. Off-screen, he was described as humble, kind, and deeply appreciative of his fans. He passed away in 2006 at the age of 81. His legacy lives on in every laugh track, every rerun of The Andy Griffith Show, and every fan who remembers Barney fumbling with his gun and badge. From a shy boy in West Virginia, to an Army entertainer, to one of America's most beloved comedians, Don Knotts proved that laughter can be just as powerful as courage. Don Knotts wasn't just a funny man on TV, he was a veteran, a trailblazer, and proof that even the quietest voices can make the loudest impact. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite Don Knotts moment?